Respected President of CMA, Mr. Roshan Kainedi, Founder President Mr. V.K.S. Menon, Vice President Ms. P.K. Narayanan, Mr. Sagar, who made an excellent introduction of me, which made even me, think that whether I am sitting somewhere else, hearing about somebody else. And thank you very much, Sagar, for that great introduction. And Mr. Ashik, Secretary, Mr. Sadish, P.K. Ahmad Sahib, Sakir, my friend Hamid, and so many others in the audience whom I know and many of you whom I don't know. First of all, thank you very much. Thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity. Let me, first of all, thank profusely from the bottom of my heart for getting this opportunity. Calicut, even though not my home, is my adopted home, and I am proud to be called somebody who is a Calicut citizen. And Calicut has got definitely a place in the map of management because of many reasons, historically if you look at. But most recently, this has been by the establishment of the Calicut IIM, which anybody in the country or even outside immediately recognizes as the center of excellence for management, and Calicut can be proud that it is the home for one of the leading, very well-known IIMs in the country. India, we know that it's on a path, a trajectory which is going up, and we are all poised for growth. You, all of you sitting here, are leaders and are going to be players in that great march forward. We are all people who are actually at the fag end of life, even though we try to pretend we are not. That's a reality. I tried to avoid that until 5 years back. 3 years back I used to avoid using the specs for looking at the names of people, and committed a lot of mistakes and decided that I should wear that. So until some age, you start concealing your age. Then after that you start brag about it, tell that you are around 60 and all, which to make people, really respect you. So towards end of life, as we all know, it is like a toilet paper, something like, life moves much faster towards the end. The toilet paper starts moving very fast. So you have to do things very fast as you become older. So we are all in that age group. There are youngsters sitting here who, something which, as an experience which we had, may help them to look at life, plan things, and do things which may be helpful. So I'm really, really happy that I get such an opportunity to speak to especially the youngsters and of course the people who are of my age or even older. Now, what I am planning to do is, during the allotted time, I will first be giving a very short brief on my life's journey. That will be the part 1. And second will be on my experience. What did this journey make me learn in this last 58 years? I think I should disclose my age, 58 years. And the third is, of course, on the basis of that, what is the message that I could give? I'll try to do that within the short time that's available. This is 60 years compressed into 45 minutes. Yeah. Oh, we have sufficient time. I thought it is 45. It is almost double the time. That's like, that's really good. So, that's better. So, this is something which is not very easy, but I will try to do that. I started my journey like everyone as a child, as an infant, and I have been lucky that I was born into a wealthy family, recognized family, which had the privilege of having the social acceptance locally. My father was a independent fighter, as well as he was very well known there, so I had those advantages. Now, and I used to be good in studies also. But at the age of around 11, while I was studying in the school at Kalpagancheri, my hometown, which is a village, I had the good fortune or bad fortune to go out of the school when there was a strike and jump out with all the others who had gone out to a place, Tirur, to present a memorandum to the Tahsildar for reduction in the price of rice. There was a big strike going on. So this was, along with the other students, this was about 6 miles, and I walked along with others, and it was a great experience. The age of 11, everybody was going. And I went, and my father, knowing that the teachers and all are very close to it. In fact, the school was donated by my father. So he was so close with the teachers and all. So immediately this was informed, and he sent somebody to bring me back in between, because he felt it very, very, something like which he felt it is bad that, and it doesn't, sound like, good to participate in that. So he somehow wanted me out of it. This person came, but I didn't go, and along with the students and all, I went, came back home, and that is the last day when I saw my school at Kalpagancheri. I was kept under house arrest for 4 months and not allowed to go to school. He said that this is not something which you should have done. You have brought disrespect to the family. You have not done this rightly. There were a lot of people who got involved to make me go to the school, but he didn't relent. Finally, he allowed me to attend the exam, 7th standard exam. And I was taught from home with the teachers and all. After that, I was shunted to Calicut with the interference of my dear brother-in-law, who pleaded for me, and I was sent over here. So I came to Calicut at the age of 12 to St. Joseph's Boys High School. I got into the 8th standard and started my studies here. Now, this was a turning point. Why I am telling this is that this was a turning point in my life. And this is how actually things happen. There are many things which are not under your control. I'll come to that later. Now, I studied here. It was a horrendous experience initially. I studied in Malayalam medium, came here to the English medium school, 8th standard, all with Gujarati friends and people like that who used to find pride in speaking only in English. I never knew what English is until that age. You know what is being taught at Kalpagancheri. I had to go through tremendous amount of mental strain, but I had no choice. There was no going back. It was like the Battle of Rubicon, or where you cross and then you can't come back. You are there. I studied, and somehow after 6 months, 1 year, I started adjusting to that. And those 3 years at Calicut really produced a tremendous change in me, because I saw a larger horizon, a world which was different from Kalpagancheri, which at that time, even now, is educationally very backward, and that horizon expanded tremendously, which was a chance incident actually. Now, 10th standard is the time when my father, who was the guide, philosopher, and who was, in spite of all that I told about him, he was the person who was actually the guiding force for me. He died when I was in the 10th standard, when I was 15 years old. That again was a tremendous impact, produced a tremendous impact. You go into a situation where you have an orphan feeling, even though financially we were sound. I am the youngest, all my brothers had by that time got married, got settled, and I had a feeling that I haven't anybody to take care of me. This produced an orphan feeling in me. And that again, I'll come to that, how it helped. Then I went to the college here, Farooq College. I did my pre-degree and BSc there. And by grace of God, as I studied towards the end of that BSc, I got into the Calicut Medical College on merit and then did my MBBS there. And after that, I did my MD also at Calicut Medical College. In between, I did a diploma in chest disease at Delhi and came back and worked here for 5 years as lecturer in Calicut Medical College. And from Calicut Medical College, at that time, I went to Dubai. Actually, not to be there permanently, just for 2 years to just as a sabbatical or whatever you call. I had an option to take leave for some time, so I went there. I wanted to come back, as many of the people at that time wanted. This was in 1987. I wanted to come back with a nice foreign car and as well as some money to build a very palatial house. This was the main agenda of going to Gulf. I wanted to stay for 2 or 3 years because I was hoping to become assistant professor at that time. I had some time. Even if I go, I could come back and become an assistant professor. I went there, joined, thinking that I will join with one of my friends as an employee. But he pushed me to start my own clinic. He didn't want me to be with him. So I was forced to start a clinic at that time, against my wish, and I was forced to have something of my own. This forced me later to stay back. This again has a philosophical thing beyond that, which I'll come to when I talk to you about what I learned during this, or what is the lesson behind that. Then it is next, now this was in 87, last 25 years I have been there. This has produced tremendous impact on my life. I worked very hard for the first 15 years, working, seeing 100 patients a day, initially myself, then doctors joining with me, and then taking it forward. And by the age of, by around 2000, we thought of the MIMS Hospital, Calicut, joining with other friends and professionals. We established that in 2001. And then we also started looking at our own establishment there, the expansion of that, which went into the, whatever was mentioned here, which now is becoming a much larger chain. So that happened. And I am here now, being considered, as has been introduced here, a doctor turned businessman. And towards the end, somebody mentioned philanthropist also. Now, this is my journey. So, from the age of, say, came to Calicut. I am a Calicutian. So, all throughout, even though I was during this period in Dubai for a significant portion of my time. Now, this is not different from many people's life. But what happened, what probably gave me some edge, as I told earlier, was the experience which I had and the way in which I decided I will face that. The experience of coming here to St. Joseph's Boys High School and fighting it out was extremely difficult. You have anybody for that matter, they have a comfort zone in their life. And if you are taken out of that comfort zone and put somewhere, either you fight it out and survive, or you just succumb to that. I had one of my relatives, close relatives, in fact my nephew, my sister's son, who was also brought here at that time, not because he went out of class. He wanted to give me company and came here, and we were together. Many of you may know him, Amir Ahmad, who is presently a big businessman in Oman. He, after 3 months, left Calicut, said that I am not going to be here in between all these people who speak